Technology has revolutionized the world we live in. With rapid development in artificial intelligence, we've created a reliance on automation, but also a fear of the unknown. A certain unease has grown to wonder how far it can all go. Will technology misuse our information, make our jobs obsolete, or even surpass us? With the human race bound to the frightening power of machines, will there come a time where we will all have to submit to technology terror?
Welcome to 13 Degrees of Screams,
where we watch and dissect your favorite spooky movies.
I'm your host, Alex.
And Stephanie.
And this is a mostly horror podcast.
Each season, we'll rank 13 movies on a scariness scale from, you guessed it, 1 to 13.
We will uncover the real-life myths and legends that inspire these movies and tell you just how authentic they are.
This week, we take some pictures in Shudder.
Stephanie.
Yeah.
Shudder. Have you seen it before we watched it for the podcast?
It was one of those spoiler reviews that I watched it, and I...
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I actually made, like, a mental note of it, was, like, not interested.
Oh.
Not because it's scary, just, like, super uneventful.
You should have said something when we planned the season. I wasn't super tied to this movie.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a good one for technology, though.
I mean, Ish. Spoiler, I guess, but this is the only one we really have that deals with a camera.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in the sense of covering our bases of different things.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No. It's fine. Because, spoiler alert, I have also seen this movie before.
I didn't watch it. I just watched the spoilers on it. So.
Oh, okay. But I remember it not being that good.
Yeah.
So, not a fan?
No.
Yeah.
No, it's
not amazing. That's like, there's very few movies so far we covered that we like really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, you live and you learn.
Right. I mean, also though, when I think of like movie review YouTube channels and stuff like that, sometimes I think that the worst movies make the better reviews because it's more fun. People are a little bit more honest and brutal, and It's a little bit, I feel like it's easier to talk about the negatives than it is to
it's
be just like, it's so great. We love it. We should do it. Like,
yeah, it's fun to shit on stuff.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
Fuck this movie.
Yeah. Everyone loves to come together and hate something. So.
Right. So, yeah, we're killing it this season then.
Right.
Because Shudder was not great. I will say, I feel like it started out strong. Like, I was like, okay, I'm getting into it. And then at some point, it just all kind of fell apart. I was like, okay.
I will say the deaths were a little disturbing at times, like with the bugs and stuff. But other than that, you know exactly who's going to be there when everyone's trying to turn around and find something, you know?
Right. And to be honest, like, even though I just watched this movie, I watched it this week, several days ago, I don't really remember. So I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, that did happen. So when you talk about the plot, I won't be also surprised. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Highly forgettable. We had it as a 12. No, wait. We had it as 11. No.
Is it?
No.
Yeah. Maybe it needs to go lower.
I would say Unfriended was a little bit more
intense.
It was intense. It was more thrilling. Shudder, I really just felt nothing about.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah. All right.
I think it would be a little lower, but there's some creepy moments, I would say, overall.
Okay. And before we dive into the background, I just wanted to give a trigger warning that this does briefly talk about sexual assault.
It does.
Yes.
Which I also forgot about, so thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I swear I watched it. I promise. Are you ready to dive into some background?
Oh, for sure. Let's get on with it.
Stephanie's like, can we just skip this episode? Okay. What's a movie we both watched recently where we could just skip Shudder and we could talk about that instead?
Ooh.
Be like, surprise, we're not talking. This is a weird, random, non-technology themed movie.
Honestly, the only other movie I recently watched that wasn't involved with our show was The Little Mermaid.
The new one?
No.
Or the old one?
Just the old one. I just felt like revisiting my childhood.
Oh, that's fair. I just recently rewatched a movie just because I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I don't remember what it was. My memory lately is just not there. It's
I mean, you have a
stress.
lot of movies too, like in your background,
I know.
It's not.
I watch.
They all combine.
What did I watch? Was it Alone? No, I watched The Hunt. That's what it was. It wasn't one that I've seen before, but I wanted to watch it. Have you heard of that one?
Yes, it's good, and I like the main girl in it a lot.
Oh, you saw it?
She's funny.
You watched the movie?
Yes,
I liked it.
I like it. I like the
political commentary,
yes.
but everyone gets shit on, so I'm okay with that.
Right, exactly.
So The Hunt, much better movie than Shudder. Go watch The Hunt. Came out right before the pandemic. Highly underrated.
Yes, and who's the main girl in it? Do you know the actor's name offhand?
No.
Anyway, she's a girl boss. She girl bosses into the sun the whole time.
Does she? Oh, in the movie?
Yeah,
yeah. She's
great.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best characters in like a movie. Because you don't know what side she's on.
She's definitely like a great final girl, you know?
Yeah, and like she just wants to survive.
And so unexpected, too.
Yeah, I loved it. Go watch it. The beginning is amazing. It goes way off the rails.
Oh, yeah.
In a good way. But anyways, back to Shudder, the movie that we have to talk about because we planned it out that way.
Yeah.
Background on Shudder. Here we go. Shudder is a 2008 supernatural horror film directed by Masayuki God damn it. I'm sorry, guys.
Oshai?
Yes. And distributed by 20th Century Fox. It was written by Luke Dawson and is a remake of the 2004 Thai film of the same name. So another Asian-inspired movie. This is like, we just need to watch the originals next time.
Apparently.
Outside of the Ring?
Yeah.
Like we just need to, because I'm sure they're great.
I know.
Which is
I
why
need
they're
to buckle down and listen to the subtitles and read the subtitles
yeah.
and try not to get too distracted.
Yeah. These shitty American remakes.
Yeah.
God, we're subjecting everyone to.
Oh. We're sorry.
Its story follows newlywed couple Ben and Jane, who have just moved to Japan for a promising job opportunity. After a tragic car accident that leads to the death of a young girl, Ben begins noticing strange blurs in many of the fashion shoot photos, which Jane suspects is the spirit of the dead girl they killed. The film stars Joshua Jackson, which is Charlie from Mighty Ducks. I was like, damn, I knew he looked familiar.
Okay.
I love Mighty Ducks. We covered it in our old podcast.
Was he the kid or the coach?
The kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Charlie, the kid.
Oh, yeah.
The child.
Yes, the child.
So anyways, Joshua Jackson, Rachel Taylor, and Megumi Okina.
Okay.
It was produced by Regency Enterprises and was released on March 21st in 2008. It grossed $10.4 million in its opening weekend and $48.6 million worldwide against an $8 million budget, making the film a box office success. Get out of here.
Oh, man.
I guess
not have been a good year.
No, I guess the premise was kind of cool, but
I guess.
you're like, no, absolutely not. The film received generally negative reviews from critics.
Yes, queen.
She's like, I'm ready to tear into this bitch. I'm over it. Rotten Tomatoes reported that 11% of critics gave the film positive reviews based on 65 reviews. The site's consensus states being a remake of the Thai horror film instead of Japanese doesn't prevent Shudder from being another lame Asian horror remake. Yeah, Metacritic reported the film had an average score of 37 out of 100 based on 12 reviews, which I feel is a little too high.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give it 2. I'll give it like a 20 out of 100.
Yeah, I could see that.
I don't know. Some of it's all right. But overall, I'm like, no.
All right. Well, do you want to get into the plot?
Do you?
I can do that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, for sure.
You seem a little like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
Okay, let's go.
All right. So Ben Shaw and Jane are newlyweds that leave New York to go to Japan, where Ben has a job as a photographer. While traveling, Jane hits a girl in the middle of the road, convinced that she's killed her. However, after the crash, the girl is nowhere to be found. Later, they start to find mysterious lights in their photos. Ben begins to complain of severe shoulder pain, and his friends begin to comment he's looking bent and hunched over. Though the doctor he goes to get checked out says, they can't find any cause. Ben's assistant takes them to her ex-boyfriend, who says that the lights are spirits, manifestations of intense emotions. They then go to a psychic, Murasami, who Ben soon claims is a hack and refuses to translate what he says. I really did wonder what he said. I was like, can we at least have a reveal of what he said?
I think if you think about it with the ending, it's probably something to do with
his secret.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, that's why he's like, no.
Like a vengeful thing or something.
Yeah, like he knows what's going on because if he's a psychic or a medium, he'll know.
Oh, true.
So that's probably why he won't.
That's probably why I get pissed and left. So Jane decides to visit the office building in the photo. So she goes to the floor where the light has gathered in the empty office and takes photos. And
sorry, not to interrupt, but so they're doing this photo shoot right outside this building. Like, what are the odds that building she needs to go to is in frame?
Right.
Like, you just so happen to have a photo shoot so conveniently in line with the building you need to go to. Yeah. I was like, girl, the stretch is real.
Places in Japan, like they're not all grouped together.
No,
it's not a small place.
No, it's a big. Yeah, it just so happened to be this one photo shoot is just perfectly aligned with the one mysterious building that she needs to go to.
Right, and then sometimes like the light just kind of looks like the glare from the sun, not like really anything in particular. It just looks like they took it with a bad camera.
Yeah, I mean, he even makes that comment because when they were in the crash, the camera got all jacked up. And he's like, oh, those streaks probably just because the camera's messed up.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, yeah, you're right.
Okay.
So she's like, no, it's a ghost.
So when she takes photos in this office, she encounters the girl's spirit and learns her name is Megumi, and that Ben knew her when he lived there previously, I guess before they met. So they apparently were in a relationship, so I feel like it's much more than just new.
Yeah. Just a little bit bigger than what I thought.
Right. And apparently her father died, who was really strict about them seeing each other. So they were like sort of semi-living together. But after he died, she got really clingy and he felt like she was too serious about the relationship compared to how he was feeling. So he was trying to distance himself and asked his two coworker friends for help. So Jane's upset with Ben and decides that they need to go find Megumi. So they go to her home and find her decayed body. And I don't know why they're so surprised that she's dead. Because, I guess because some of the photos that they suggest, I think when they're at the assistant's ex-boyfriend's place and they're looking at photos, I think he said something about even these ghostly images have appeared for people that are still alive. It's just like sometimes the emotion that they feel is so strong that they kind of project their image into these photos.
I missed that.
So I don't know if they were just assuming on that she was alive.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I figure in that case, you can't see her really in the photos until you look really close and then she's there. I would assume
she was actually there the whole time, but just no one paid any attention to her. She's like, guys, I'm right here.
Yeah. I was wearing this ghost sheet the whole time.
Yeah, surprise.
So she apparently committed suicide with potassium cyanide. And elsewhere, Ben's friends, Adam and Bruno, are pretty much killed one right after the other by Megumi. Adam's eye is torn out while shooting pictures, and he dies from shock in the hospital later. And Bruno commits suicide by jumping from his apartment. And, they found him right before he committed suicide. And he's in a trance and he just kind of takes a run for it.
Who the hell is Bruno?
Yeah, I didn't even really catch their names. I think I knew the one name was Adam, I think. But otherwise, no. And apparently before they got there, he was just cutting up photos and till his fingers bled.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if that was evidence to their little secret that they have.
Maybe.
But
I did want to say, I just realized including this movie, the last 4 movies we dealt with had suicide in it.
Right? Yeah.
Why?
Oopsie.
Why do we have so much of this?
I don't know.
It's just this throwaway plot mechanic. Outside of Unfriended, where that is the plot, basically. There's all these instances of people killing themselves.
Yeah, all the other movies, it's brief, but Unfriended, it's completely about that.
Yeah, it's just something that hit me. I'm like, oh my god, every movie we watched has at least one character.
Yeah, at least in this grouping of 4 here, yeah.
So we had Unfriended, then Videodrome, he kills himself at the end.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Then The Ring,
and
she throws herself off the edge. Anna Morgan, and now this.
Oh yeah.
Both the ghosts.
Was there any impulse or
No.
No.
Not that
Stay
I
Alive, not
recall.
Pulse, not Fear Up.
No, it's just these like
just these
groups of
ones.
4.
I don't
It's
know
very
how
weird
we
how that
just-
shook out, but
Yeah.
this is all randomly generated
Selected.
lists.
We didn't decide like this will be the suicide bit.
We put it in a number generator and we scramble it, and then whatever comes out, comes out. And here we go.
Okay.
I just thought that was interesting. I just realized that just now.
That's an interesting point to point out.
Hmm.
So finally, Ben is attacked by the ghost of Megumi, who attempts to choke him. And after nearly throwing Jane through a nearby window, Megumi stops, leaving Ben alive. So I guess since they found Megumi's body, they have a funeral for her.
Well, real quick, she almost throws Jane out the window and stops. Remember, she gets pushed against the thing and stops it.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know where it was going at that point, so I thought it was just like a culmination of like, her last attempt to get whatever she wanted out of them before her body was cremated.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I thought it was just like a buildup of all of this ghostly energy, basically, that she had. So I thought she was just recklessly attacking both of them. But now that you pointed out, and with retrospect, yeah, I guess she did stop her. She did stop after she pushed her. She's like, oh, my bad.
My B, I don't know. I just got caught up in the moment.
Yeah,
I didn't know what was going on.
I don't have any hard feelings against you.
Right. When you're mad, you just start lashing out at everybody.
Right.
Even though they didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
that makes sense. So after her funeral, Ben and Jane return to New York, and Jane finds some recent photos in an envelope which still show Megumi. So, meaning that, her spirit's not at rest. She's still, interfering in all their photos. And since he's a photographer, too, he gets photos all the time. So, they got photos of, their wedding, she's in them. They got photos from their honeymoon, she's in them. Even before, they hit her with the car and stuff like that. Even though she wasn't even alive at that point. Right. They hit her ghost.
Yeah, so...
She'd always been there.
Right. So, why did just now you, realize? You feel like she'd be in basically every picture.
Right. And why it's all of a sudden...
a thing.
Way worse now that they're married, I guess. Or... Because they realized, too, basically from her death on, she'd always been with them. It's just now it's way worse.
Right. Is it because they went to...
Japan
back home
or something? I don't know.
It's very weird. And then all of a sudden she's in every picture. Yeah. It's wouldn't she be there? Yeah. In any case, the plot hole? Question mark?
Yeah. So she finds other photos though taken by Ben, Adam, and Bruno forcing themselves on Megumi. And Ben tries to explain it all away, saying that they only did this to convince Megumi to stay away from him, that she was obsessed and nothing else was working. So this was the reason Ben didn't want to translate what the psychic was saying earlier. So disgusted.
Oh, so what I said.
Yeah, I found the note. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I was like, okay, no, I feel proud of myself.
Yeah, no, you got it. Excellent job.
That sounded patronizing.
Sorry, no, I really mean it. No, you knew exactly what was happening. I am sorry.
That's right. No.
So disgusted by Ben's past actions and realizing that Megumi was trying to warn her, Jane leaves him, saying she will not spend the rest of her life with him. And I was like, thanks, Megumi. I really dodged a bullet there. But maybe before I have to sign a prenup or something, or however long they were together. Right. Or whatever. Let's do this before I'm engaged, or
I know. Again,
chased me away a while ago.
I feel like that was a mistake because that she was there before they went into Japan.
Yeah.
It would make way more sense if it only happened when they got back.
Right.
Because her being in the images while they were getting married and stuff doesn't make no sense.
Right. Because assuming they've been together for at least a year or two beforehand.
Why didn't you stop this
before?
And why did you decide, okay, I'm going to make my appearance when you're back in Japan? What if he never went back to Japan?
Right.
Then what?
I don't know. Or
right?
Or maybe she finally had more access to him because he was closer to her body. I don't know. It
doesn't make
logistics,
sense.
No.
Right. So I think them revealing that she was there this whole time was a flaw. It was an accident.
Yes.
Shouldn't have done that because now I have so many questions.
Right. Either that or they should have just changed up their whole relationship where she was only newly dating him. So
yeah,
that made
this
sense.
is right. No.
So angered, Ben begins photographing the apartment looking for her. After throwing the camera across the room, it takes a last picture of him showing that Megumi has been sitting astride his shoulders. And it pans back to when Ben was in the hospital getting his neck checked out after the accident. And it shows when they weighed him, he weighed 275, and he doesn't really look like he'd be 275. And it's the weight of two people. And in an effort to rid himself of her, he electrocutes himself, which I don't know why he thought that was the solution.
I was very confused. I'm like, is he trying to stop her or is he just trying to end it?
Right. I thought maybe he was killing himself, but I wasn't sure.
I think so too, because that's the only explanation. Like, what else would you think would happen, sir?
Right. So this completely messes him up, and he's catatonic and sent to a mental institution. And his back is like now so far curved. Like it was a little hunched over, like not super noticeable until people mentioned it. But it's super hunched over. Like you can barely tell his body has a head. Like,
I know.
When you're looking at the back of him.
It's just a lump.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like it hurts significantly.
Yeah.
But he deserves it. So.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, this is an asshole.
And then it shows in the reflection of the glass from the door that Megumi is still latched to his back.
So it's one thing to have your neck like hurting, and it's another thing to have a whole nother ass person on your shoulders. Did he feel her? Or does his head just hurt a little bit? Because that's not the same thing. I guess it was soreness in his neck and shoulders is what the problem was, and he assumed that was correlated with the accident. But again, if she was with him before, right,
his neck must have always been messed up.
And then if he legitimately on the scale is now weighing 275 pounds, he'd feel that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't just be a pain in the neck. He'd be like, why is there a person on me?
Right.
Like, what? No, that doesn't make, like, maybe if it was a ghost, maybe a couple pounds.
Yeah.
That would hurt your neck. But, like, to have the weight of a whole nother person, like, it's not just a neck pain. Like, you can't.
Also, too, like, does he really think that his body has changed that much compared to, like, what he weighed before? Or something like that, too? Like, yeah, like, I know you can fluctuate weight with muscle and water weight and everything, but the weight of a whole nother person is significant,
Yeah, and if you see this guy, there's no
difference.
Right, there's not that much muscle or that much fat to be there. So I was like, did he not see he weighed 275 pounds? Like, what? I don't know. There's just so many questions in this movie and so many, like, plot holes.
I don't know. In a way, I think maybe all along he might have known but wouldn't accept it. I
don't know how he would.
Part of it.
Maybe. I just don't know how you would. This must be the woman that I sexually assaulted.
Mm-hmm. Well, technically he didn't. He just watched.
Well,
but
he was an accomplice. He was just as guilty. But
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just so many. Well, that doesn't make no sense.
Right. Moments
in this movie. So, yeah, very uneventful. Like, again, even you telling me the plot, I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. That happened.
Yeah. That's a movie. This is a plot. Like,
yeah, I feel like out of all the movies, this is literally the most unforgettable. At least like the other bad ones were like bad and memorable because they were bad.
Yeah,
this was just like this happened,
right? And like as a ghost too, like she's not super scary. She's just a normal person.
No.
Just, I mean, like when they find her body, it's icky. Like,
any decaying body's gonna be scary.
Yeah, right. And
like
a couple of times, like actually, I think that's from The Ring, though. I thought the dead bodies looked a little creepy, but no, I don't think they even really show the dead bodies
in The Ring, or in this movie.
Not in this movie. Not really.
Yeah.
After they die, they're just like, dead.
They did. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of bugs crawling out of her face sometimes.
If you're afraid of bugs, I guess.
One or two, which was weird.
1 or 2 bugs.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't love that for me, but like it wasn't super scary. Is all.
No. You know what? The more we talk about this, it's not an 11. It's maybe not even a 9. Maybe not even a 7. Smart House.
Smart House. Shutter.
Shutter. Smart House.
Oh no.
Pat. I don't know.
Yeah, she's intimidating.
Yeah, so.
So, would you like to hear about cameras detecting ghosts?
Yes.
The scientific community does not regard cameras as reliable or conclusive for spotting ghosts or spirits. While some people may claim to have captured images or video of ghosts, the evidence is often criticized for producing low-quality or ambiguous images that can often be explained by more natural phenomena such as camera artifacts or reflections. One approach that some researchers and investigators may take is to use technologies such as infrared or thermographic cameras, which can detect changes in temperature that may be associated with paranormal activity. For example, a thermographic camera uses infrared radiation to show the temperature of an object, allowing investigators to detect heat spots that may correspond to ghostly anomalies. However, the use of thermographic cameras and other technologies has been criticized for producing results that are often open to interpretation, or can be explained by more natural phenomena. Additionally, many self-described amateur research and investigation groups that claim to investigate ghosts or the paranormal often do not adhere to scientific norms and can be biased towards supernatural explanations. Critics of ghost hunting also question the methodology used, particularly with regards to the instruments and equipment used to detect ghost or paranormal activity. Some argue that these tools may produce readings that are more suggestive than conclusive and could be influenced by a range of factors such as environmental conditions or operator bias. Overall, while cameras and other technologies may be useful tools for paranormal investigations or ghost hunting, they should not be regarded as reliable or conclusive methods for detecting or capturing images of ghosts or spirits. Instead, it is important to approach any supposed evidence of the paranormal with a skeptical and critical eye, and to consider more natural explanations for any anomalies captured using cameras or other imaging technology. Ideally, investigations into the paranormal should adhere to scientific norms and use rigorous methods to reduce the likelihood of producing biased or misleading results.
So, in conclusion,
Ghost Adventures is a lie.
I love Ghost Adventures. No, not necessarily a lie. It's just like you can't prove it, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot of it's up to interpretation, though, too. Like, sometimes, too, I feel like it's a feeling more than it is like an actual image.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I've never personally seen a ghost picture or like anyone who had a picture that, you know, had a ghost. I don't know about you. Or seen anything like that?
I've seen like Orby specks and stuff like that in pictures, especially while looking for houses. Like we were like, oh, that one's got a few.
Right. And well, you know what? Even I just realized when I was streaming that one day and then I had that little weird little ghost like light
just kind of rise up next to you.
Yeah. And, you know, people, of course, were saying it was dust, which, you know, fair.
Yeah.
But it was too specific. Like it didn't. I mean,
it didn't float. It just went
moved
straight.
It went left and then up. And then I've never seen that ever when I streamed ever.
Right.
Hundreds and hundreds of hours of streaming. And that was the only time I've ever seen that. So, I mean, maybe. But, you know, I'm like, oh, God, a ghost. But maybe, I don't know. Because I, despite having experienced things, I'm always trying to prove things wrong and be a skeptic. But I've never had that happen before. So I was like, but then also, am I just seen too many Ghost Adventures? And I'm like, that's a ghost.
That's fair too.
So, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's better to just say that you don't really believe in something because it keeps your mind safe, you know, essentially. Like, I feel that way about aliens sometimes. I'm like, yeah, you can confirm them all you want, but I'm going to think in my head they're not real.
Right.
Because that helps me.
Until I'm face to face with something.
Yeah.
And like, not to go into, you know, my history with ghosts. I think I saw a woman. You know, when it happened, I would have told you, I saw that. And even then, I'm like, I don't know. Like, maybe ghosts aren't real. Like, you know, I'm always trying to just disprove stuff because just believing it would freak me out too much.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think I'd be very skeptical of pictures. I watch a lot of ghosts caught on camera, like YouTube videos. Like, and every single one I watch, I'm like, fake, 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 fake. I don't believe any of them.
Yeah.
Only because if I did believe all that shit, I wouldn't go to bed.
Right.
So I'm like, no.
Yeah.
That's not real. And some of them are obviously blatantly not real. Like full people just walking around. It's the ones that are so subtle, like something just slightly moving. I would believe that way faster than like
a physical
person walking or like the whole house shaking and shit. Like I would believe you way more if your phone just fell over or something. Like, that's believable.
Yes.
But in terms of pictures, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anyone with any sort of evidence like that. So I don't know if I how I feel about that. I mean, who's to say? I'm not gonna say it's not
like
per
doubt
se.
other people's experiences either, but
they don't know either. You know,
right?
Could be a malfunction. Shit breaks all the time
for sure.
So I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, about the same as you. Like, I think Charlie's a little bit more sensitive to this, so I feel like I'm more safe because of my skepticism, honestly. And truth be told, too, like, I do like ghost adventures sometimes, but also I think it can get kind of hokey, like, especially some of the main guys, Zach's
it's just his
counterparts
reactions.
Are very wild. I think his name's Adam or Aaron.
Yep.
Yeah, like any room that's dark, he just walks in and he's like, I'm cold, man. Like, and I'm like, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's very cold. Like,
to be fair, in the moment, if I was in a place like that, I'd be shitting my pants.
Yeah, probably. Yes.
Because you like almost trick yourself into like any little thing that happens.
That's the thing too. Yeah. Like
you kind of
like open yourself up to that susceptibility and that doubt. But whether or not it's real or just you're kind of allowing yourself to have your imagination take over.
Yeah. It's kind of like voodoo or like some alternative healing. It's like a lot of it is if you believe it's going to happen. Like,
right.
It will kind of a thing. Look at me. I'm talking like I know about voodoo, but from what I heard, it's like you have to believe in it for it to work.
Okay.
Which I feel like a lot of things are. Like, even like the tarot deck you got me, or the oracle deck,
mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of it, I'm like, I could just disregard that, like, completely.
Oh, yeah.
But part of me is like trying to like be intentional, like, well, maybe if I put my energy into it, it will.
Well, stuff like that is very vague. Like astrology is kind of like that too. Like, like I could pull up like your horoscope and you could pinpoint like things where you're like, oh, that's like exactly like my day or whatever. But then really you got to think about it. Like some woman or something probably like in her 60s is writing like, today Taurus is in Saturn and it's not a good day. Like
you're like, you're right. I had a bad day.
It was a bad day. I did cry today. Like, how did you know?
Like even if you're having a really good day, you're going to pinpoint that one little thing that went wrong. Like I stubbed my toe. You're right.
Yeah,
it was awful.
It was a bad day. Yes.
I won the lottery, but I stubbed my toe.
it just depends on how much stock you put into it and how much you're going to skepticize it as well. So
right.
Yeah,
I agree with you. Just a lot of it comes from just protecting myself because, like, if I think about it too much, I'm gonna freak out. Sure. This conversation kind of took a turn more towards skepticism as opposed to cameras, but it all tied in.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you show me a picture of an orb, I'm just going to say it's some dust.
Probably some dusty dust.
Some dust. But thank you for listening. If you enjoy the show and listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, giving us a 5-star rating is super helpful, and we will always appreciate it.
You can find us on social media at 13 Degrees of Screams.
This has been 13 Degrees of Screams, and we will see you next week.
Click, click. Camera. Click. Click. Vogue. I don't know.
Work and yes.